There are so many subtle nuances to becoming a young adult. Consider all of the interactions a young person has on a daily basis. It can be something as simple as being a child out to dinner with your family. Your family is having a conversation, you have nothing to say, or there's nowhere that it makes sense for you to put your input. You sit and you observe their facial expressions, the way that they react to each other. Or it could be that you're a young person arriving at school and going to class. You sit down, you look at your peer next to you, you decide to engage in a conversation, or you decide not to. You sit and observe your classmates interact, or you sit and observe your classmates not interacting. All of these moments that have the option to engage verbally or to not engage and to sit and observe are moments of cognitive, social, and emotional development for young people. Adolescents are faced with more challenges than ever before. One of the biggest challenges they are faced with is the possession of smartphones, most specifically the use of social media. According to an online statistic collector called Statista, in 2021, 12.2% of children used a smartphone for the first time between the ages of 1 and 2. 16.1% used a smartphone for the first time between the ages of 2 and 3. According to Common Sense Media, an independent nonprofit research organization, a majority, that being 53% of kids, have their own smartphone by the time they are 11, and 69% have one at the age of 12. The number of 8-year-olds with phones grew to 19% in 2019 from 11% in 2015. Let's go back to these social situations. You're out to dinner with your family. They're having a conversation, one in which you have no input or you have nothing to say. You take out your smartphone and you're scrolling. Or they put a smart device in front of you and you're playing a game. You get to class, you sit down. Instead of looking at your peers next to you and observing and engaging, you have your smartphone out because you can have it out until the bell rings, and you're scrolling, you're typing, you're doing whatever you are until the bell rings and the teacher starts teaching. So much of our experience of growing up is being erased by this tool of distraction and entertainment. Take that a step deeper to see that instead of growing through having face-to-face interactions with our peers in real time, we are socially developing through virtual communication and connection. My question is, how is this affecting the minds of our youth? And what is the long-term impact going to be? Some argue that the youth have more creative possibilities available to them through this technology. According to another study that Common Sense Media did, they claim that consumption crushes creation. The majority of young people devote very little time to creating their own content. Just 2% of screen use among tweens and 3% among teens. Screen media use continues to be dominated by watching TV and videos, playing games, and using social media. Use of digital devices for making art, creating music, coding, or writing remains minimal. I decided to interview some of my peers at State University of New York at New Paltz to learn a bit about what their experience has been like growing up with smartphones and social media and how they feel that it's impacted both them and their peers. I'd like to share a quote from Tristan Harris, the former design ethicist at Google. We're training and conditioning a whole new generation of people that when we are uncomfortable or lonely, we have a digital pacifier for ourselves that is atrophying our own ability to deal with that. Doesn't that sound pretty horrible? Doesn't that sound like it's going to have really negative long-term side effects? Doesn't that sound like it could belittle our ability to engage with our humanity? Let's look at some short-term side effects of smartphone use that have already been documented. In the documentary The Social Dilemma, it's recorded that from 2009 through 2015, statistics revealed that girls ages 15 to 19 who were admitted to the hospital for non-fatal self-harm rose 62%. For girls 10 to 14, it rose 189%. Even worse, in the same years, suicide rates of girls 15 to 19 rose 70%. For girls 10 to 14, it rose 151%. Is this a statistic we can honestly live with as informed adults? Don't get me wrong. I know that there are positive attributes to social media. We get to share our creative endeavors and our creative voices. We get to grow our businesses and receive business and produce income from that experience. We get to experience voices from those who are marginalized in our communities. There's really a lot going for social media. However, that being said, can we really justify these positive outcomes of social media, knowing this statistic, knowing what will come and may come of our children and their children, their children?